Hello, welcome to Cards of the Week. I am Bison,
And I'm the Night Shadow.
and this is the last week of November. This week we have a lot of series. Granted, a good number of them are TDs, but a lot of series. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and start with the two that's been continuing this week. First one will be Sao 2. First card, Fundamental of Gun Xenon. Blue 0025, Avatar Weapon Trait. When you have no other characters in the front row, this card gains 1k and hand encore.
Do you think this gets played over Kirito solo player?
Depends on the amount of suicides there's around actually. I mean, like, if you have technically this card can get over 4 or 5, but of course you lose that level 1 bonus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm trying to think. Was there a card that said something like if you have only one other card, other character gains one level 1k or something like that? I don't think so though.
No, I don't think so.
Um,
I mean, there is one, but it's in Cell Volume 2, and it comes with a Brainstorm effect, so it's only a level 1 3K.
oh, I don't know. I think it's a decent card either way. I mean, like, you could throw up the whole back row either way.
And I mean, like, Cell does have a decent back row that you want to play at level 0. Here's the thing, though. If you're playing this card as your startup card for, starting card for your Asuna Kirito game, especially in an Prison Queen deck, you don't run this.
Yeah, you have better options. Relying the sofa is probably better. Granted, it has no iron
Mm,
encore, I think.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of like being a solo character in the front row or just solo character period. Like,
Oh, solo
you have
character.
better.
Solo character is straight up Kirito.
Yeah. What I mean is Shinon won't be as good as Kirito in the Imprisoned Queen build because you typically don't run that many level 0 supports and you focus on your level 1 Kirito Strong Bond. So that won't be as strong in those kinds of decks. So if you're basically looking to make a wall at level 1, don't run this card.
And this card kind of conflicts with the running Kirito card anyways.
All right, second card. Naked. I mean, diving in incognito. Kirito. Level 0, cost 0, 3,500 power. With the avatar and weapon traits. This card can't side attack.
Well, you could see this as a merit if your opponent can somehow force you to side attack.
Your opponent can't be front attacked or something like that.
Your
Like
opponent
I
cannot front your opponent like something like some sort of effect. Your opponent cannot front attack.
those are super rare.
The only card I know with that now is only in Little Busters. Off
At
my
level
head,
2.
at the moment I know it's only Little Busters and like one other card. I can't remember. I know there's two cards. One of them I know is one Little Busters. I can't remember where the other one's from. But those are ridiculously rare.
Yeah. Like, I don't think this is actually a problem. Like, if you like Kirito or you want to focus on a Kirito offensive build where Asuna's support to Kirito is played, well, I think you'll run him. But in the general meta deck, I think there are better options. There's not much to say about
There's
this
not much to
deck.
say about this.
Just don't
It's
look at
pretty average. I mean, like, it's
just
the
don't look at
merit
the card art
is
too long.
it's the merit's not really that bad to
Yeah,
be honest.
the merit's not bad. It's just that
It just seems
eh,
out there. It just seems out there.
it's
Anyways,
just more utility out of Asuna's Lead on the sofa and stuff like that.
yeah. Anyways, next card is the Parent Death God Death Gun. Red 105k Avatar and Weapon Trait. You set a top deck to clock. If you play this card from hand, you can pay the cost. If you do, choose your opponent cost 1 and lower front row character. That character does not stand the next turn.
Do not run this in fours.
Definitely not running as force. Technically,
You want to run this? I think you want to run it at 1 of or 2 of because this card is like the times that you want this to happen is basically something like they have a 1/1 that they set up for defense and you stun it, so they force it to the back row, which forces them to play another card or maybe move one of their supports to the front row. Either way, it does force them to change up their style a little bit, and it does get, but it's not something that you can rely on or something that you really want to pursue in large numbers.
technically only uses the stun cards that gain effects on more attacks, not just because it's just there, just not because it's something to stop one attack. It's more like something you want some sort of effect you want to stop and you cannot deal with it right away. Something
Like for example, Shimekaze.
that would be a good example, but this card could technically kill Shibekaze on its own anyways.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, like cards like I'm thinking about like maybe like a 2/1 change Umi from Love Life where it gets too big, you cannot beat it. You use this for sure on it.
Right, because this hits cost 1 or lower, so you
Yes,
can
it's a
hit
cost
level
1 and
2.
lower, so you
Right,
could technically target level 2s that you cannot beat, and then
right,
either
right.
side or front against it, and they either had to force it to the back row and just leave it there or play over it or something. If it's like a change to 1 cost, then it has more value. Assuming it's like a Climax phase change, of course, or it's been there for a few turns already.
Yeah, I'm gonna really hate that with my Vivid Green deck.
Yeah, that would be a card too against Vivid
Hmm.
Red in general. Vivid Blue, Vivid Green, not yellow, but
Yeah,
But yeah,
who runs Vivid Yellow?
it's kind of a tech game card if you in a Defcon deck, I guess.
Yeah,
If they're just cards you cannot beat.
yeah, I don't disagree. All right, let's move on. Fourth card today. Watching a battle with everyone, Lisbeth. 0/0, 2500 power with the avatar and weapon traits. When your opponent has 3 or less stock, this card gets 1000 power.
I would say it's good, but you have so many other options already.
And when you say options, I hope you mean by color, because I mean like we have so many red zeros that you want to run that you don't need this to fix color.
I mean like just straight up level zero beaters in general.
Oh well, I mean what I meant is that like this would be a great card for beating if it wasn't for the fact that there were already too many zero playables in red. Like there's the Silica Brainstorm, there's a Silica Reverser, like that takes up quite a bit of your zeros already in red,
Yeah.
especially in most decks where you're only running red for the level 3 Silica.
I mean like it's a good effect either way, but the problem is it's just so many cards you could just use.
It's why
That's
this one is in common and why the Vivid Red one is rare.
The other rare, this isn't actually booster too, so anything that's actually common could be rare. It's a good effect, it just seems just not where it should be. I
Okay, all right.
think. I think.
I just think it's not necessarily outclassed, but out utilized by the other red in the series.
Next card, Strolling Autumn Kazuto. Blue 1025, net character. And when you play this from hand, draw a card and discard a card. And when your other character goes sent from stage to winner, you can sack this card to put that character back on field and rest.
As long as it's in the back row.
As long as this card's in the back row.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's not as
Interesting.
good. It's not as good as the one in rewrite though. Obviously.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that. This is interesting where it combines two of my more favorite niche abilities, which is being able to draw and discard on play, and when this card's in the back row, you get to sack it to save a character. Here's the thing. What are you saving? Most level 1 games contain a lot of Encore. You have the 1/1 Clock Encore, Asinus Natural Gentleness. You have the Imprisoned Queen, which you don't really want this in the back row. You want Kirito Strongbond. And then you have the Silica deck. Heck, Silica gets saved by Pina. You don't even want this card. So my question is, what are you saving?
Changing Close Elizabeth?
Oh, okay.
It's an
Um,
option, right?
Oh, I was just saying, like most level 1 games consist of a heavy amount of Encore, or cards that don't matter if they got encored or not, aka markers.
I think the one that the Asuna that combos off of Wind and Shot Trigger is a valid target for this, I think.
You mean the Star Splash combo?
Yeah, the Star Splash combo one.
I guess. I mean, like, that's maybe one target, but you're running a non-avatar character to do it.
I don't see the problem with that, to be honest. Not anymore.
I do.
Oh,
I
you
do.
You do?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, like there's
I
there's enough problems already with having non-avatar characters in the deck that if you because I mean like if I recall correctly, oh never mind. Is the Star Splash level 1 really worth saving? It's essentially a vanilla for power wise, and the only reason you save it is to continually do the combo. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Like, is there a point to saving that one?
I don't know. I'm just throwing random cards that might be worth saving that I know of right off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, let's say granted that is one, but just that one.
I'm sure there's other cards. I'm just not sure.
But I'm saying, like, comparatively speaking, if you're running the Imprisoned Queen deck, it's better than a lot of other choices. If you're running the Asinus Natural Gentleness 1/1, it's a lot better than other choices. And the only other level 1 that you would run en masse is the marker level 1 Asuna. And that one, well, it doesn't matter if you save it or not.
Yeah, once it's gone, it's gone.
That's my thoughts on it. It's cool abilities, wrong set. Alright, next card, Strolling in Autumn Asuna. Level 1 costs 0, 5,000 power with the net trait. When another avatar or net character of yours declares an attack, this card gets 1,000 power until the end of the turn.
Pretty standard, if you ask me.
Standard, but again, there's so many other level 1s that you can be using. Like, there's a Kirito that we previewed before that that goes up to 7,500 and it's a 1/0. If you want something that is essentially cleaner, as some people put it, then you want to be running that because the extra 500 power is necessary, and the fact that it's a Kirito really helps out the fact that, well, you have Imprisoned Queen or those that really need it.
Also, just make sure you guys know the Asuna in this is in kanji and not in katakana. So any Asuna cards that do no any cards that targets Asuna that has the name in katakana cannot target this card because
So
the
basically,
name's
what he's talking about is Kirito's Strong Bond.
basically yeah. That's one
Uh,
card for sure. I'm not sure if there's any other cards, but
the
that's
one, the Lisbeth that bonds to the Lisbeth that bonds to the Star Splash Asuna. Asuna that invites the party.
isn't that an avatar?
No, it just says choose when this card attacks, choose an Asuna, give it 500.
Oh yeah, there is a card like that.
Yeah,
That is a card like that. Yeah. And even though even though she has the Asuna in the name, you have to remember this name is indeed in fact in kanji.
it's more shown on the Japanese cards than the English ones. Though I
Yeah,
do believe the English reprints in English are going to have the Japanese lettering beside it just to fix that issue.
I hope so. I
Yeah,
mean,
we'll, we'll see what happens.
it can get confusing when you have two of the same name in two different word type in word writing
Yeah, I
in
agree.
creating. And when you try to translate this from Japanese to English.
On to Idol Master then.
Yep. So I'm just gonna go with the climaxes first, just because they're all the same name and all the cards in Honor Master is affected by the same climax
This will be
name.
fun.
First climax is 1k1 shot trigger. Second, this is obviously yellow. Next climax is +2 soul green. Next card is a 2k1 soul red. And the next card after that is a Stockholm 1 soul in blue. So what do you think of four climax of the same name in the fourth set and they all have different effects?
Well, I think that if that's the case, that it's very obvious according to the cards of the day. But even if I had to guess without knowing, I would have to say that if there's four different cards with the same name, that means there's going to be a climax combo in each of the colors, and you get to basically choose and pick what climax combo you want.
Out of the four, which one would you pick? Would it depend on the deck itself?
I think it would depend on the deck, but if I wasn't restricted by color and I was allowed to basically pick whatever climax I wanted, I'm very partial to shot triggers. I know a lot of people aren't due to the fact that they're generally bad until late game. I like them. I would pick the shot trigger first, then the 2K1. After that, then possibly the +2 soul, and then the stock 1 soul.
In that order?
Yeah,
Me? I'm just gonna wait till I make the deck. I have to know
yeah.
I need to know what color I'm gonna be frequently using more frequently.
I think I have a good idea, but I think we'll discuss it after the podcast.
The first card that was actually introduced with the climaxes, well, the first climax at least, onto the stage with everybody, Naman Coke Pro, yellow 218K music trait. For every marker under this card gains 35, and when this card attacks with Masterpiece in the climax zone, you can pay the cost, which is one stock. If you do, choose a music character from your waiting room and put it under this card face down as a marker.
And the three cards featured on this are Yayoi, Yukiho, and Mami, I want to say.
Mommy is mommy.
So, standard 3500 marker. It's nice. It's very interesting for level 2. Does this help yellow?
Because they need the climax? Not really.
Okay.
It's technically a 2
11-5.
11-5 with a possible -1 to your hand if you really want that.
It's not bad
It's
if
not.
you get the combo off, but of course, that's assuming that it stays alive.
Yes, it's assuming it stays alive, and
This is the same.
it could technically get bigger than it should be.
Yeah, it could. See, this is the same problem with the Hatsune Miku card that you can have 8 of. It's a good card if you manage to get the combo off, but before that, it's just a burden to run because it's a 2/2 that you need the comeback trigger. I mean the treasure trigger to go off and have that card in the waiting room, which you'll probably play a lot of, and before. You have to play a second climax combo before you even get any bonuses out of it. At least this one,
It gets a bonus.
you
right
get your
away.
bonus right away, and you can stack the markers underneath this.
That's assuming you somehow able to attack this more than once with it still under there or played Masterpiece several times.
Yeah, and of course, being masterpiece, none of them being treasure icons. It's just, well,
Yes,
um,
now we're at it. I almost forgot to mention, while we're talking about the climaxes, because they all have the same name, does not mean you cannot play. You could play 8 climax with the same 8 masterpiece in the deck because they all have the same name.
they're all restricted by the 4 of name rule, and that's the thing to remember. It's not a 4 of card rule; it's a 4 of name. So, for example, if you're running Jinketsu, you can only run, say, a max of four together. So, three red and one blue, or four blue, or so stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can play both. You can play one of each masterpiece for the lows, but you know what I mean.
Okay, so if this card doesn't really help yellow, then I think I'll just pass it. It seems a little wonky just for 3,500 power, and while that's a good amount of power, having nothing else is kind of detrimental.
Well, it's technically meant for the masterpiece deck anyway. Masterpiece deck, anyways. I believe.
Oh, the four-color masterpiece deck that uses that 0/0 that we started with.
Maybe.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's
Ne-
move on to the second masterpiece card then, I
Yep.
guess.
Aim for top item. Namako Pro. Green 105k music trait. For every marker underneath this card, this gains 1500. And when this card attacks with masterpiece in the climax zone, choose a music character from your reading room and put that card under this face down as a marker. At least it's
Well,
free.
this one's free, but you don't get the level. So the three members in green are Ami, Azusa, and Iori, the three members of Ryugu Komachi.
Technically, there should be a Risco in here somewhere, but in the movie she technically did not sing masterpiece, so she kind of got omitted.
Oh well. Okay, so my thoughts on this card. It's an interesting card. You get the 15 for 1500. It becomes a 1065, and there's no cost, so that's really nice. My only problem with it is that if your opponent runs any sort of level 1 reversers, this thing is pretty much dead.
Except off-time Alcato is still a thing.
Right.
You'll still probably still be running that card in this
if
deck.
you're gonna do that, then you're gonna, yeah, that's right. Then this will be essentially 7Ks. Okay, never mind. I take that back. The +1 level didn't matter at all because off-time Makoto is a thing. Never mind. I thought.
It only matter if you're attacking into it.
Okay, so I think that this is decent then. The only problem, obviously, is that its Climax is a +2 soul, and not many decks want to run the +2 soul.
Except the Climax could be anything from a 1k 1 soul to +2 soul to a 2k 1 soul and a Stockman 1 soul.
Yeah, it just depends on what color are you going with, in addition to green. That's all.
I
Good card.
honestly think Masterpiece deck is going to be a quad color deck.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, I think it's a decent card to run. At least it's free to get. At least it's a free 65, and it gains more markers every time you get Masterpiece
Yeah.
off. So
It's free compression.
yeah, but at some point, I'm pretty sure this card's gonna lose somewhere. To be honest, the power gain is not that high for every
Yeah.
marker.
It's not on a reverse like Rio is.
Yeah. So we'll just go to the next card. Our hearts are what? Namako Pro. Red 214k music trait. Assist when your character in front of this card gains 1k. And assist again, all your characters in front of the card gains X power. X equals the number of marker under this card. And the usual masterpiece shit. For every when you play masterpiece on the combat zone, choose a music character, put that card under the same marker thing.
Okay. Here's the three characters here are Haruka, Miki, and Hibiki, I want to say. I think this is the best one out of the four.
It's easily the best one of the four, just because it gains a free marker, just because you play masterpiece, and it's in the back row.
Like, the only way that this gets removed is by back row attackers or by bounce triggers.
Honestly,
so
this is
1500
easily the
assists.
best. It's easily the best. It's 15. It could assume it's a 1k support as it is, and it can easily get bigger than that.
Well, sorry, producer. Thought you were gonna be good. We covered a 2K assist producer earlier, and sorry, that card's not good anymore.
It has some value, but honestly,
it's decent, but not good.
After all, this still needs the masterpiece going twice to actually match producer.
Yeah, but the producer also needs a turn.
Well, this requires 2 turns.
Well, granted, but there's already something effect on the first turn.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, out of the masterpiece set, this is easily the best one. It's a little late when you start using masterpiece, but better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
Last card for Automaster. Cross the Sea of Light, Namako Pro. Blue 1165 music trait. For every marker under this card, gains 1 level and 2k. And when you declare attack with masterpiece, the same. I'm not going to repeat that anymore.
Yeah, okay. But this one is a pay 1 ability.
Yeah.
This is what I was referring to earlier when I said it gets +1 level. This also gets an extra 500 per marker. My problem with this is the cost, and this is probably why the blue one is the stock 1 soul one, because this is a 1 cost character that you have to pay 1 to get the marker, and it becomes a level 285 which is fine, but nobody really runs vanillas unless you're a waifu deck. So yeah, the three characters, by the way, here are Chihaya, Takane, and Makoto.
I mean, it's actually nothing wrong with this, but it becomes a 2285, which can be anti-changed out of, but you know.
Although, yeah, I guess so. Like,
There's not that many level 1 anti-change, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you
there's
go
like two.
And if you go past level 3, there is how many? A decent number, but you know, you'll probably stop using this one. You'll probably start using the yellow one because the power gain is it's just higher. And the only reason why you would keep doing this one is because you don't even have enough. You want to pay a climax out or something else or something.
Or compression, or just like if you're not facing a deck that has anti change.
Change, then you should be okay. Although
Yep.
that extra 1500 on the level 2 one is probably better. Of course, cause this one comes out earlier, so that could change
Risk and
everything.
reward. And that's literally it for all the Idol Master cards.
What do you think of the whole masterpiece combo in general? A lot of
I
markers,
think
right?
I think it's on the same level as what was that combo in Project Diva? The all that have the same name as it. Continuation of Dream, right? The continuation of Dream. I think it's very similar to that. I think it will be a budget combo that will be playable. It won't be high level playable, but it will be playable. I think it will be an okay deck. I think it's gonna be the budget deck of Idolmaster.
I
That
thought
isn't waifu, of course, and
I
that's what I
just
think
gotta
it is.
say is if you get this thing going, oh my god, the compression on that thing.
Well, yeah, of course. If you get it going, that's why I said it's a budget deck that works when it works. Obviously, when it doesn't, then the whole deck falls apart.
Yeah, of course. It's just wow. I was expecting some big combo go with Masterpiece somehow because Masterpiece is the main theme song of the movie. So I was kind of expecting something. Well, I was not quite expecting this, but you know, I
Yeah,
don't mind this either. I mean, like they had to somehow incorporate every idol into one combo. I'll be like, I don't think Bushiroad's gonna do it. They end up doing it.
it's not like Love Live had to do the same thing. Oh no.
No, no, they're all the same card, please.
Yeah,
So yeah, the combo it's anywhere it's anywhere between just okay to good. It really depends on how well you can keep it going.
yeah. If you manage to continually draw Masterpiece or salvage Masterpiece, I think that's pretty cool. But if you don't, then I think this could potentially be a flop. It's very draw dependent, which is some people really like the challenge, and some would rather have something more consistent. Like I said, I think this is going to be a budget option, and I look forward to playing it because it will look really fun when it works.
With it or against it.
Well, against it, sorry.
So yeah, that's basically it for Outer Master.
Let's head on to Girlfriend Beta, and well, neither of us really play the game.
We heard from our one of our members the game is a total piece of shit.
That is his words, not mine. But yes, try not to play the game. It's very well, I mean, if you like the girls, obviously go for it. But it's just really generic of
It's kind of hard
character.
to like the girls if you don't play the game in the first place. So
That's the thing. So
try it if you want to try it. That's basically all we can say about that.
now, as for the cards, now that's another thing altogether. Books for you, Murakami Fumio, level one, cost one, 2,500 power with the girl and book traits.
Yes, girls are actual trait now, guys.
There's technically a connotation to having the word girl there, because it's not just girl, it's garu. And in like I guess I could go into a little bit more later on, but if you really want to hear it, but there is a slight connotation to just rather than just being a girl, because it would be ona no ko
Yeah, I know
otherwise.
that. Yeah, I know
So,
that.
anyways, this card is an assist where it gives X power times the number of assists. X is the number of assist characters you control times 500. And its second ability is pay one and rest this. Give two of your character discard encore until the end of your opponent's next turn. That's surprisingly strong for a TD.
Well, yeah, it gives a little bit more consistency, but then you're also kind of expecting your characters to lose.
Well, not necessarily
I know.
expecting them to lose, but it gives them the security that if they do lose, right?
Yeah, I
It's not.
suppose, but I suppose, but it feels like you're if they don't actually lose, it feels like you waste the stock for nothing.
Well, in my opinion, it's something like this. You know that your opponent is playing level 1 reversers, and you don't know if they have it in their hand. So you'll choose two of them and say, okay, these guys get Encore. And if they end up using this reverser, they'll typically want to hit the one that will go to the waiting room instead of having these guys just Encore,
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, like,
right?
you can always just pay. You can always,
I like
play.
the idea.
You end up playing two of these in the back anyways. Is it most likely their only support past level one?
Well,
So technically, you could give.
knowing how TDs are, this is probably the only back row support past level 0.
Yeah, probably. So this is probably your support for the girlfriend TD.
I'll be honest, technically the TD set release is technically out, but I'm acting as if I don't know it.
I don't know anyway, so yeah.
Okay. The second card here is Sensational Photos in the Battlefield, Mochizuki and Elena. This is a red character, level 0, cost 0, 1000 power with the girl and camera trait. When this comes into play, you can pay 2. If you do, salvage 1 character to your hand. And when this card attacks, you can give another character you control 500. Standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. It's not Milky Holmes level, but
Of course.
that's a whole nother story because that card's pretty good because it lets you salvage two cards at once.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Not much to say here.
and
And our
yeah, you kind of wish the power on this is a bit stronger, but 1K is okay too.
yeah, it's all right. Third card, and I'm gonna cover the next two cards together because they're just vanilla essentially. Extra Camp Sheena Kokomi is a level 1 cost 17k with the girl in sports trait. 117k vanilla. Standard. Second card is from Terraformers. It's the Intercept Climax. All your characters get +2 soul. Again, just vanilla Climax here. And the third card is just 003k vanilla, Executing Mission Komachi Sokichi with the modification trait and bug.
All vanilla is really nothing to talk about.
So let's move on to the the card that we can actually talk about. Bombardier Beetle, Godly. Level 0, cost 0, 4000 power with the modification trait and bug trait. When this comes into play, check the top card of your deck. If it's a Climax, this goes straight to the waiting room.
Take basically an exact copy of Roy in Iron Master. They released a 004K. Just a different color.
Are you surprised to see this in the TD?
Kind of, to be honest. But that being said, the extra booster was pretty outdated too.
Okay.
So
I like-
technically, if we had to go, if we had to go by what we just know, which is like nothing at all, this card is good because only if we go by number of cards possible left in your deck, it's about 16% of your deck. Yeah, 16% of your deck.
Okay.
Plus minus whatever's left in your deck, but it shouldn't hit that often, but it's gonna suck if it hits.
Yeah. It's not like the one from Gargantua, which is also a 004k, but it goes to memory if you hit.
At least you could get something out of this. This one just goes right to the ready room, but
Yeah.
the chances of you hitting this in the first place is it's anywhere between not likely to almost not at all.
Yeah, but of course, if it does hit, then that kind of sucks. So that's not bad. I look forward to seeing what this TD will bring. Maybe another member of ours. Who knows? All right, so let's move on to my set, Kantai collection. I actually did not recognize this ship at first. I have not leveled up my Ayanami, so I definitely did not recognize her. This is Ayanami class destroyer number 1, Ayanami Kaini. Level 1 cost 0, 4500 power with the ship girl and destroyer traits. When this card comes into play, you can discard 1 card from your hand. If you do, salvage the event Star Shell from your waiting room and add it to your hand. And when this card attacks with the Climax, Ayanami will protect on your Climax zone. Choose a ship girl from your waiting room and place it in your stock. Climax, by the way, is +2 soul.
Well, now that we go down to the event itself.
Oh yeah, let's cover the event as well. All right, and the 2-0 event is called Star Shell. It's you get played if you have 2 or less ship girls on the field. You look at the top 2 cards of your deck and you'll place them back in that order. All your characters get 1000 until the end of this turn, and all your opponent's front row characters lose 1000 power until the end of the turn.
Now, don't expect to instant kill any cards with this card.
Yeah, that's not the point of this.
I know that.
Card.
It's basically kind of a +2k to your full field,
Essentially.
unless attacking their back row, which at the moment Kantai cannot do.
1-0, 4500, ditch 1 to salvage the event. It's okay. The event's not 100% playable. It's consistency-wise, it never really needed to be there in the first place. The bonus 2k to your field essentially is alright. My major
I don't
problem
think,
with
to be honest, I don't think it's be played, to be honest, in my opinion.
yeah, like my major problem with it is that it's an event and it doesn't do enough as an event.
It doesn't do enough as
Events that are
events, so of
played
course
need to
that
do a lot
means,
more than
yeah.
this.
Of course, if the event is not playable, then that also means Ayanami is not really that playable either because there's no way you can use the Climax combo for just an extra stock.
That's the thing I was about to get to. Like sometimes when the event is not playable, but the card that bonds to it is, it does give a little bit of a leeway to kind of play the event card. But no, this card will not be played at all because unless you really like the event, but
I
the
mean, like a plus
Climax is a plus two
2K,
soul,
yeah.
and you have better plus two souls. Okay, maybe not in green because literally Akatsi's Climax combo sucks in the first set. But if you really want a good plus two soul combo, then you'll probably stick with the Torpedo Sisters. So
Yeah, that is by definition much better.
yeah,
And the event is not really that playable, which kind of makes Ayanami kind of hard to play too
yeah, and she was doing so good for herself
in the
in her
game.
first. No, no, as her normal version,
Oh yeah.
her level zero version was good,
Well,
playable.
nothing we could do about it really. That's just how they roll.
Here's the most ironic thing: if you left this on the field with no other cards on it, and your opponent plays the normal Ayanami will crash into this with the exact same power. There's something wrong when your upgraded model, quote unquote, dies to your original model. Just
RNG guys, RNG. If you guys pick Hentai Kali, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
all right. So next card. Japan's biggest light cruiser, Oyoto Kai. It's a level 1 cost, 6,000 power with a ship girl and light cruiser traits. And I want to make special notice of the fact that it's light cruiser because that will be important for the later days. When this card has, when you have 0 cards in your clock, this card can't attack. If you have 2 or more other ship girls, this card gets 1,000 power. When this card attacks, you can discard a card from your hand to choose any other ship girl that you control and bounce it to hand. And once per turn, when this card is reversed, you can take the top card of your deck and put it in your waiting room. If that card is a level 0, this goes back to rest.
Now this is the forced ability, so you have no options on that. Just saying that now.
Sorry?
The last ability, just saying it now, if you end up fighting against a double attacker, you are kind of forced to do it.
Yeah. Like, this is a forced ability. Not something that is like, you may. No,
On,
you have to do it.
in other words, I think I think this is a pretty decent card just because of the third effect. I mean, like unless you reuse any on-play effects.
See, here's the thing that I think here. Reusing on-play effects is nice, but what are you reusing at level 1?
Ayanami,
Which one? The first one?
the level 0.
Level 0? Okay. You'll get 2,500 on play. That's great. It will be a 4 or 5 since you have another character in play.
You
Okay.
have the searchers.
I play ditch one search. So basically, at the moment that's been spoiled, I8 and
And
Kuma,
Kuma,
and that's well, Kuma's on place. Clock yourself salvage.
and I don't know the full set, and that is all I can comment on just strictly level ones.
Okay. My thoughts here is that if you're going to use that third ability, you won't probably use it at level 1. Like, the only reason you would have to do that is to save a character that would have died. And it's essentially treating it as a character discard encore, except if you save a character that has 1 cost, you're going to have to pay that again. My thoughts on the matter is that this is essentially going to fulfill the same role as Yubari. If you build a deck to support her, she will do wonders. If you build a deck that is anti-synergistic, then this card will not see any play in your deck. You have to build at least a core of at least level 1 or higher around her. Just like for Murasame in level 0, you have to build a level 0 around her game. Otherwise, she's useless.
Other than that,
That's my
7K.
thoughts on Oyoto.
Other than that, I think it's just decent. 7K that really does not have that much of a demerit unless you like just get into level 1, then, or just get into level 2 in fact, or into level 3. You know what I mean.
Yeah, at least Yubari had the bonus of, hey, you're at 1-5. All right, I dare you to hit me to level 2. I dare you.
Don't worry, level 1 suiciders.
Yeah. I mean, she had that bonus. Obviously, level 1 bombs will take care of her, no problem.
The ability to save itself is actually quite decent, although it has to be a level 0 and lower character, which could be anywhere between 30% and lower. And you probably have some in the back row already.
Yeah, like for me, I would never run this because I run 14 zeros in my Kantai deck right now. Unless
Yeah,
that
of
changes
course, and
heavily.
this is being force stability based. If you build Climax and it's end game, you are going to cry. And if you're fighting against a card that requires reverse cards to do extra stuff, you will also cry.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. First of all, double attackers don't activate once per turn. I'm trying to think of a card that may activate twice on two reverses. Anything that may salvage on
Insecturo.
reverse. Salvage, anything like salvage on reverse or, cards like that. Oh, assuming the card could even double attack in the first place, that is.
Yeah. That's kind of a stretch to even think about that. Like, it will happen very infrequently, if any.
I doubt there's going to be any double attackers that could, that has on reverse effects that happens twice. Yeah, twice. I mean, like, I really can't think of a double attack that activates twice on a turn.
So yeah, that's basically it. It's eh, it's there. It's if you build a deck around her, she's nice. If you don't, then I suggest skipping her. All right, and it's time for tea with Tea Time Congo. Level 3, cost 2, 9,500 power with the Ship Girl and Battleship traits. This card becomes a level 2 in your hand if you have 6 or more climaxes in your waiting room. If you have 2 or more other Ship Girl characters, this card gets 1,000 power, and when this comes into play, you can salvage one Ship Girl from your waiting room to your hand.
Is it possible to make Congo only deck yet?
No.
Damn. Anyways, basically in early drop, Kantai didn't really have one. At least I never seen one drop in level two or lower.
There is. It's just a climax combo that's really bad.
Okay, there you go, guys. This one doesn't really require it. If we had to compare this to Ona Dare, this one is a whole lot harder to do because first of all, you
Let's
have to
not
be
compare it to Metakoi.
fine. We'll compare to what's compared to rewrites Suzaru because it's the exact same thing basically
Okay,
almost.
sure.
Basically it's getting basically to play this card at level 2, you kind of had to be at level 2 in the first place, which would mean that you're not quite compressed in terms of clock, unless you somehow took a lot of damage, then you are gonna be sweating for a bit. If you have 6 or more in your reading room already, that means whatever stock you're paying out is probably not a climax, but the ability to salvage one would mean that you're technically only putting one character back into the waiting room before refresh. And technically, this card can't be dropped earlier than 5 or less in your deck. And that being said, it's a 10.5.
It's nice. My thought on it first is that the most comparable card that is there is Hiei, and we already don't talk about Hiei because of how bad Hiei's cards ended up being. However, Congo has obviously two more advantages on it. Hiei only has the salvage on play and 500 more power. Congo has an easily fulfilled condition that makes her a 10-5 and potential to come out at level 2. Best case scenario, of course, is to pay 2 out, have one of those be a climax, and salvage one so that you have basically no decrease in compression while getting a level 3 out at level 2. That's your best case scenario.
That's your best case scenario, but like I said before, you have to have 6 or more in your climax in your waiting room already.
I get that.
Yeah, that's kind of wishful thinking.
I was actually going to compare Congo's this Congo's best case scenario with Hiei's best scenario. Hiei's best scenario is that you salvage something that you can also play that turn that's actually better than Hiei. Yeah.
What's the point of that? I might just play more copies of the same card.
Then change it to the level 3/3 copy of Hiei and give the card that you salvaged for an extra 2k. Great job. And that's her best use. Congo's best is obviously infinitely better than Hiei's, and if she wasn't in a bad color, and this obviously may change, if she wasn't in a bad color, I think she would be a solid card.
And anyways, Congo, I'd say it's a decent early drop card at least. If you really wanted some sort of level 2 game, which you don't mind the condition I'd say is kind of hard because that means you have to be at level 2 before refresh.
It's happened.
Or cancelled a lot. And I mean like cancelled a lot after refresh.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Kantai really likes to take damage early at level 0. So, I mean, like, they have Inazuma, or if you're not running Inazuma, you're typically running Murasame, and if you're not running either, then I don't know what you're doing at level 0, typically, because those are the decks I'm familiar with.
That's probably gonna change, to be honest. Like,
yeah, you'll hit level 2 more often earlier than most other decks, at the moment anyways, and this is nice. Nice addition, especially to their lineup.
Yeah, considering they don't really have a level 2 game, kind of. Unless you're playing blue, but then, yeah. Unless
Yeah.
you're playing blue, and blue is already pretty bad, to be honest.
Well, I would actually argue that red is worse than blue, but that's another topic for another day. Other than that, I think we've covered all the cards this week.
Oh, wait, there's still one more card to cover.
Oh, yes, right. We have a new fairy tale card as
I
well.
totally forgot about that card.
Searching for Najeel, Natsu. Or sorry, Gajeel, sorry. Natsu. It's a 0/0 2000 power brainstorm with the magic and dragon traits. It's a brainstorm effect. Pay 1 and you mill 4. For every climax that you mill, you search for a dragon. Sorry, you salvage a dragon character, add it to your hand, then discard a card.
It's spammable, that's all you have to say.
It's a spammable brainstorm
For dragon, so
for
you'll be using
dragon.
you'll
So
be using this in a
essentially,
dragon deck.
essentially Natsu Wendy.
Not it could be Nagil as well, actually.
Yeah, true. Interesting.
You'll probably play this with Makarov, or what's his name?
Makarov.
Makarov. For sure, you'll be playing that with this card.
Yeah. I think that's a nice addition. It's obviously not as splashy as the level 3 Lucy from last week, but it's
I mean, like, it's very possible to get free brainstorm too, since the fairy tale could get technically free stock for startup abilities, and this is
yeah,
definitely a
that's
startup
true.
ability.
That's true. And if you're splashing for the level 3 Lucy, then you're going to be running the Lucy against the Lucy version of that, or just to add zeros and green. Yeah, that's interesting and very nice.
I believe this card is gonna be played even if you don't play dragons,
Just
maybe.
for the spammable brainstorm?
Depends on what other brainstorms they may have. I'll be honest, I don't know Fairy Tail is cardless, so I'm not even sure they even have a spammable brainstorm or not.
Nope. They don't have a spammable brainstorm. The only brainstorm that they have is the Makarov one that you mentioned earlier.
Really?
Yep.
I assumed they had at least
Nope.
one other brainstorm.
It's the only other one, and Makarov's brainstorm is in yellow. So
It's technically both level 0, so it doesn't really matter. But
yeah,
I guess you'll be using this as your spammable brainstorm even if you do not use dragons.
we'll see.
Well, I
I
guess it
don't know.
depends on.
I don't know if you'll afford the stock or you want to go a little bit more of a compression game. I think it will have to take a look see, but obviously Fairy Tail is going to change because of this card. It's
The dragon deck
definitely
is
good.
that dragon deck I say has definitely improved for sure with this because
Tons.
you can easily spam this honestly by salvaging the global dragon just to get the free startup and then use the startup again.
Yeah.
You can easily get through the deck quickly without using stock.
Oh man, looking forward to facing that card.
So yeah, now that it's really all the cards of the days.
And we have no more other news to talk about. We will see you next week for the premiere of a week that doesn't have Sao in it.
Or Idol Master. Yep. Release of Idol Master and Sao is this week. So good luck to anyone who's getting the Sao extra booster, and anyone who's getting the Idol Master movie booster, which is me.
I don't know if you checked Yu-Yu-Tei's prices, but all the bulk SR signs are all 765 yen.
You have to if you've been reading the cards themselves, and you've noticed the number has come up quite often.
Yeah, well, it's because they are 765 Pro or
Namco Pro.
Nanako
Namco
Pro.
Pro. That's technically the Japanese name, but you can call 765 if you really want to.
Of course. But yeah. Well, we will see you next week for the next cards of the day. Please rate, like, and comment on this video. Let us know if you have anything you want to talk about in the comments, or otherwise, we will be back here next week.